My name is Emily, and until 2 years ago, I thought I knew exactly who my family was. I grew up on my grandfather's farm. It wasn't a huge property, but it was beautiful. Endless fields of golden wheat stretched beyond the horizon. A weathered red barn stood proudly near the house, and every morning, Grandpa would wake up before sunrise just to watch the sky change colors. To most people, it was just an old farm. To Grandpa, it was his entire life. And to me, it was home. When I was 26, I moved to the city for work, but I still visited every weekend. Every Saturday morning, I'd find Grandpa sitting on the porch with a cup of coffee waiting for me. Those visits became our tradition. But everything changed after Grandpa suffered a minor stroke. Thankfully, he recovered quickly, but the doctors advised him to take it easy for a while. That's when my parents suddenly became very involved. At first, I thought they were simply helping. They handled paperwork. They attended appointments. They offered to manage finances. Grandpa trusted them completely. So did I. Looking back now, I wish I had paid more attention. One Saturday, I drove to the farm and immediately felt something was wrong. The front gate was locked. A large sign stood near the road. Sold. I stared at it for several seconds. My heart nearly stopped. Sold. What did that mean? I rushed inside and found Grandpa sitting silently at the kitchen table. His coffee sat untouched. His hands were shaking. "Grandpa, what's going on?" He looked up at me. His eyes were red. "I don't know, sweetheart." I felt cold. "What do you mean you don't know?" He swallowed hard. "Your parents sold the farm." For a moment, I thought I had misunderstood him. "What?" "They sold it." "How?" His voice cracked. "They used the power of attorney papers I signed during my recovery." The room started spinning. I knew exactly what documents he was talking about. The temporary papers that allowed my parents to help with medical decisions. Somehow, they had used those documents to transfer ownership and complete a sale. Without telling him, without asking him, without warning him, I immediately called my mother. She answered cheerfully. "Emily, what did you do?" Silence. Then she sighed. "We did what needed to be done. You sold Grandpa's farm behind his back. It was becoming expensive. It wasn't yours to sell. We're family." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. My father eventually joined the call. We received a very good offer. "How much?" When he told me the number, I nearly dropped the phone. Millions. Far more than the farm's actual market value. Something didn't make sense. Nobody pays that much for an old family farm. Nobody. Who bought it? Neither of them answered. That was my first clue. They were hiding something. The following week, construction vehicles began appearing near the property. Rumors spread quickly. People assumed a corporation had purchased the land. Maybe a luxury housing project. Maybe a resort. Maybe a shopping center. Everyone had theories. But nobody knew the truth. Including my parents. A month later, Grandpa was forced to move into a small rental house. Watching him pack his belongings was heartbreaking. Every photograph, every tool, every memory. His entire life fit into cardboard boxes. The strongest man I'd ever known suddenly looked defeated. And I hated my parents for it. Then came the phone call that changed everything. A lawyer contacted me. "Miss Emily." "Yes. Our client would like to meet you." "Who is your client?" "The owner of the farm." I froze. "What for?" "I'm afraid I can't discuss details over the phone." "When?" "As soon as possible." The meeting was scheduled for Friday afternoon. I spent the entire week imagining every possible scenario. Maybe the new owner wanted family history. Maybe they needed signatures. Maybe they wanted access to old records. I had no idea. When Friday arrived, I drove to a luxury office building downtown. The receptionist escorted me to the top floor. My hands were sweating. The doors opened, and I walked into a massive office. A man stood near the window, probably in his early 40s. Expensive suit, confident posture, calm expression. He turned around. "Emily." I nodded. "You're the buyer." "Yes." He offered his hand. "I've been looking forward to meeting you." That sentence immediately made me uncomfortable. "Why?" He smiled. "Please sit." I remained standing. "No, tell me why I'm here." His smile faded slightly. Then he opened a folder. Inside were dozens of documents. Photographs, survey maps, property records, old newspaper articles. The farm. My grandfather's farm. "Do you recognize these?" "Of course." He nodded. "Good." Then he said something I never expected. "I didn't buy the farm because of the land." I frowned. "Then why?" His answer stunned me. "I bought it because of your grandfather." The room went silent. "What?" He pulled out an old photograph. A younger version of Grandpa stood beside a teenage boy. The boy looked familiar. Very familiar. Then I realized why. It was him. The buyer. 30 years younger. I looked back and forth between the photo and his face. Confused. "What is this?" His voice softened. "When I was 16, I had nowhere to go." I listened carefully. My father died. My mother disappeared. I was homeless. He pointed to Grandpa. "Your grandfather took me in." I blinked. "What?" For nearly a year, I lived on that farm. I had never heard this story before. Not once. The buyer continued. "He gave me food." He paused. "A bed." Another pause. "Hope." I felt chills run through my body. He treated me like family when nobody else would. The man looked toward the window. Everything I became started there. I finally sat down, trying to process everything. If that's true, why buy the farm? His eyes met mine. Because I learned your parents were trying to sell it. I stared at him. "You knew." Months before the deal closed. My heart started racing. "What are you saying?" A small smile appeared. "I'm saying I never intended to keep it." The world seemed to stop. "I don't understand." He slid a final document across the desk. I looked down, then looked again. My hands trembled. Because the document wasn't a purchase agreement. It was a transfer agreement. New owner. Emily Carter. I couldn't breathe. "What is this?" "The farm belongs to you now." I stared at him, speechless. "You bought it for me. For your grandfather." Tears filled my eyes. "But why?" His answer was simple. Some debts can never truly be repaid. I sat there in complete shock. The buyer had spent millions of dollars. Not to develop the land. Not to profit. Not to build anything. But simply to protect the man who once protected him. I started crying. Real tears. The kind you can't stop. The kind that come from somewhere deep inside. The buyer gave me a few moments before speaking again. "There is one condition." My stomach tightened. "What condition?" He smiled. "You promise never to sell it." For the first time in months, I laughed. "I promise." The legal process took several weeks. During that time, my parents learned what had happened. And they were furious. Not because Grandpa got his farm back. Because they lost control of it. My mother called repeatedly. My father threatened lawsuits. Neither succeeded. Everything had been done legally. Perfectly. For once, their money couldn't save them. For once, their manipulation didn't work. The farm was gone, and there was nothing they could do. The day we returned was unforgettable. I drove Grandpa through the front gate. The same gate he'd thought he'd never see again. The moment he saw the fields, tears rolled down his face. I handed him the ownership papers. He read them twice, then 3 times. Finally, he looked at me. "Is this real?" I smiled. "Yes." He broke down crying. And so did I. We stood together on the porch where we'd shared hundreds of Saturday mornings. The sun slowly set across the fields, exactly the way Grandpa loved. For a long time, neither of us spoke. Words weren't necessary. Some moments are too powerful for words. Months later, Grandpa asked me a question. "Do you know what hurts most?" I expected him to mention the betrayal, the lies, the sale. Instead, he shook his head. It wasn't losing the farm. I looked at him. It was learning who valued it. I understood immediately. A stranger remembered his kindness for 30 years. His own children forgot it. That realization hurt him more than anything else. But life has a strange way of balancing things. Sometimes the people you help never forget. Even when decades pass. Even when fortunes change. Even when the world moves on. And sometimes, when you least expect it, that kindness finds its way back home. Grandpa passed away peacefully 2 years later. Not in a rental house. Not in a hospital. But on his farm. Watching the sunset from his favorite porch chair. Exactly where he wanted to be. Today, I still live there. The wheat fields still sway in the wind. The barn still stands. And every Saturday morning, I sit on that porch with a cup of coffee. Just like Grandpa used to. Because some places are worth protecting. Some promises are worth keeping. And some acts of kindness echo for generations. Long after we are gone. The farm remains. And so does his legacy. Thank you for listening to Emily Calm Stories. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who believes that kindness always comes back around. We'll see you in the next story.